Welcome to the Expert Talks by Kalkine TV. I'm Sage. Today's guest is Mr. Darwyn Palenzuela, CEO of One World Connect. And for some background, One World Connect is a London-based FinTech company established to facilitate a faster, cheaper method for cross-border payments around the world through advanced internet-based technologies. And they have operations in the UK, Australia, the Philippines, and the company is due to launch in Canada the second quarter of this year. So keep watching to find out more. Bringing you live today, we have Mr. Darwyn Palenzuela, CEO of One World Connect. Welcome to the show, Darwyn.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
Well, Darwyn, you're an entrepreneur with over 20 years' experience in the technology industry. We're excited to have you featured on today's show. So, pleased to know that you've recently partnered with the Philippine National Bank. What lies ahead following this new venture, please?
Yes, well, that was quite a very privileged deal for us because Philippine National Bank is the number one bank in the Philippines. It's one of the oldest, if not the oldest bank established. And they've got quite a big distribution outlet here in the Philippines with about 700 plus. And they've got a lot of domestic partners that allows our company to provide services to overseas Filipino workers and other immigrants as well that are based here. That allows them to send money from Australia to and UK to the Philippines. So it's a big deal for us. It's a great partnership. It allows us to expand utilizing that network to allow our customers to do more cash pickup. Because traditionally they do online. We provide online facilities, but cash pickup is still a predominant method of delivery here for customers, and mostly in the developing nations as well. So there's a lot of opportunities with this partnership that we have, so we can expand with the bank as well, with Philippine National Bank.
It's fantastic to see, and congratulations on your partnership. It sounds like an incredible opportunity to expand and grow your business.
Yes, it is. Yes, I mean, yes, and they're a great partner to have. I mean, they very much look at providing quality services to Filipinos worldwide. So that's the first step of our venture into providing digital services, not just for the Filipinos, but it's actually worldwide. So we'll be providing our services gradually for the developing nations.
Excellent. So the PNB has over 700 stores with partners, multiple partners. So effectively, you're covering, like you say, not only the Philippines.
Yeah. That's the whole point: is to be able to provide the whole country of the Philippines. And it's quite essential these days with the pandemic and such that families and that are provided the resources, and that's what a lot of the overseas Filipino workers do. They work and then they remit their finances over to the Philippines to take care of their family. The Philippines is I think in the top 4 countries that provide remittance worldwide, with over 30 billion of transactions, US dollars, coming here into the Philippine country.
All right. So how are your exchange rates better than what banks and other providers offer?
Well, since we're technology based and we state-of-the-art technology, our AI does provide a means of determining which exchange rate we should utilize at that particular moment. Because invariably there's a lot of resources that you can pull rates from. Some are good, some are not as competitive. So with our system, we're able to pull that, determine which rate is feasible and is better for that end user, and we then present that over. And one of the key things that our company does is we make sure that we are very transparent with the costs, because generally what people don't understand is the fees are fairly competitive, which is the amount you will pay to make a transfer. But it's generally where you get hit is the exchange rate. So a lot of providers, the bulk of them, actually get their fees based on the rates. So they take a bigger chunk of the margin. So what we do, we effectively look at which rate is the best and out in the market, and we present that to the end user. And so it's very much close to the what they call the mid-market rate, which is effectively what should be the rate of your currency. So that's how we're able to provide such a cheap rate, and I think we provide the cheapest in the market from what we've a team of researchers have done. So based on the AI and the human research that we employ to determine we're competitive, we've seen that we consistently provide the best rate, and people can just see it because when they access our site, and that's the response that we get from our recipients, because they can see how much they get when you convert the currency. So that's the key thing that people, our customers, look at. It's what is the actual currency conversion, rather than how much they're paying, because effectively you'll get a higher. It's the exchange rate that you're looking at anyway. It's not so much the actual fees. It's actually what the recipient will get. That's the key that one should look at.
Well, savings on any aspect is a great thing to be able to experience. So if you're bringing that to your clients, sounds like a win-win. Could you also share
exactly.
your
It's
insights?
transparent. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the rise of FinTech across the world is hard to ignore. Could you share your insights on the rapid rise of FinTech in several industries?
I think fintech is quite a broad area to cover. I mean, generally, it's a provision of financial services at a technological scale, but invariably you'll always find ways to maximize with technology what you can do, and that's what fintech has done for the financial sector. The traditional methods that, especially now with the pandemic, of general basic stuff such as onboarding process, which effectively were managed on the land-based level. People are getting comfortable with the use of technology, and with AI and with the smartphones now being the quality level of these, it's you can then utilize, for the sake of argument, the camera that you can have on your phone now is in HD quality, that you can use that as a basis to determine one's identity when you couple that with their own personal identification card. And so it makes it easier, especially in the current circumstance, to still continue to provide services when you use technologies that's provided by companies like us as a fintech provider. I mean, that's just one of the many technological advances that has been attributed because of the rise of fintech. And basically, it's a requirement. It's faster, provides faster access to resources for consumers. For the sake of argument, a simple thing is comparing products and services. One had to previously either look around magazines, then with the internet came, you do a comparison site and look at it. And now there's applications out there that consolidate financial services and present that to the consumer, so they can make decisions quicker, cheaper for them, and when they need it. So it's generally that's what fintech has become. It combines with other technologies out there, like the artificial intelligence industry is also making innovations and advancements, and generally fintech as an industry will capitalize on these advancements as well.
That sounds great, and the fact that mobile phones have become so much more advanced and able to allow people to process
it's
these
also become a day-to-day life, right? I mean, nobody can get away without a phone these days.
Yes.
Kind of prehistoric if you see someone hasn't got a phone, but it's a reprieve as well if you don't have a phone. So I try to not have a phone for
not too
at least
many.
24 hours.
Yeah.
It becomes your life, so.
That's right, technological cleanse.
Good or bad. Yeah.
Well, the pandemic has had a significant impact on businesses, and a shift to more digitisation, and the new variants are now showing us the force of their impact. It's understandable that things won't get back to the old normal anytime soon. Could we have your insights upon how the pandemic has affected fintech in particular?
Yeah, I believe it's had a sad thing with all this calamity. I mean, there is some positivity, which is services that provided by companies, software companies, especially the fintech side, has increased. The uptake has increased because there is still a need and a demand for day-to-day banking and also for provision of service related to finance. So it's there's generally been a rise in things that companies like ours, like us as a cross-border payment provider, we've seen an increase in the use as people just have to do it. There's been restrictions throughout different territories, and it's still uncertain, and people aren't sure as the impact, and they try to avoid contracting the issues as well. So I think it's for us certainly it's made a positive, sadly, like I said, a positive impact in a good way. That we've seen an uptake on it, and I think that's the same for others as well in the sector where e-commerce payments. These are the kind of services that have seen a boom with the pandemic.
Absolutely, yes. The rise of digital payments has certainly changed a lot of behaviour, I think, and allowed a lot of savings like your company's providing. So we're winding up the discussion now, Darwyn. Lastly, what lays ahead in your near-term pipeline for 2022?
Right. Well, it's been quite an exciting development for us this year, starting off with a partnership, and we are looking at launching as well in Canada in Q2 this year. And there are some we are looking at expanding, like I mentioned, globally, and so we have some deals in the pipeline that allows us to enter into different territories. Obviously, we're regulated in the areas that the countries that we target, and we will ensure we establish with partnerships that are regulated as well. We've accomplished quite a great deal last year and leading up to this year as well. We received a digital currency exchange license from Austrac, which allows us to provide crypto digital currency services as well to our consumers. So that's something that it's exciting, something for us to look forward to, and it's a good type of service that's pretty much, I believe, is the future as well, as far as payments are concerned, and use of digital assets. So that's something that we've got in our pipeline sooner than later.
That's great to hear, Darwyn. Best of luck with your near-term projects for One World Connect.
Thank you. Thank you very much again for having me here.
Yes, thank you so much for being available and sharing your insights with us.
No problem. Pleasure.
If you've just joined us, we had a very informative discussion with Mr. Darwyn Palenzuela, the CEO of One World Connect. Please watch the full interview via YouTube at Kalkine Media, and keep watching for more live expert talks and market updates. Stay apprised and invest wise with Kalkine.